I think it looks maybe. Nope, I got my sound settings on OBS still tripped out. Or do I? Nope, they were right the first time. Son of a bitch. Testicle difficulties. Okay, so now we should have sound back. I don't know why it just freaked out on the sound side. Okay, says stream health is good over here.
We
OBS
look
seems to
good.
be back. I see all of us. OBS is picking up sound again. Okay, so folks, I apologize. I'm not really sure what happened there. Somebody said that the feed cut out. My OBS seemed to like blink there, and I had to get some settings back. But so I'm not sure how much of my rant that I was starting on there that you guys caught. So I'm just gonna like briefly run back over real quick. We'll finish this up. We'll wrap up. We'll let you guys get the fuck out of here. Basically, a couple weeks ago we saw Ian Kuntalaba, spelled Ion Cute Laba, which is fucking weird unto itself. In a match where he tried to do a thing that has been done successfully many times before, beautifully. Anderson Silva specifically is a fucking master of it, or was to a certain point. But he tried to go in and basically play the fucking, oh, I'm hurt, wobbly, don't fucking hurt me anymore, to sucker his opponent in to get close. And when he did that, referee Kevin McDonald didn't see from the angle that he was at that Ian was playing and thought that he was genuinely wobbled and stopped the fight 34 seconds into the first round based on what he saw and presumed was an injured, unable to defend himself fighter. Well, obviously, in the moment, as soon as the stoppage happened, Ian Kutalaba famously, literally turns in the moment to referee Kevin McDonald and goes, "What?" with one of the greatest what the fuck faces ever caught on fucking camera, and then immediately turns around to anyone that kind of to verify to himself and everyone else, like, is this a joke? Like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't get hit. He didn't actually tag me with anything. Like, I'm joking. I'm playing. Like, what do you mean you're stopping the fight? And to their credit, the UFC recognized what that was for the bad attempt that it was and immediately booked the rematch. A little unceremoniously, his opponent said, well, you play the game and the referee stops it and the referee stops it. It's not my job to make sure you're playing or not. It's just my job to fight till the referee stops. And to his credit, that's what he did.
Exactly what professional fighters do.
Yeah. But immediately the UFC saw that for what it was and booked that rematch right away. Those two are going to run that back. That will be settled once Backstreet Boys allow us to figure out what we're actually going to be working with here. But as I would absolutely encourage, and pretty much most professionals did encourage as well, as soon as that night was over, and that was quote unquote, for those listening, in the books, Ian Kutalaba went immediately to the Virginia State Athletic Commission and filed an appeal on that decision as a TKO loss to, at best case scenario, get it ruled a no contest, disqualification, something that's not going to be an actual loss on his record for a 30-second TKO where he was standing looking at the referee that stopped him. We got the result of that appeal this week. Due to no foreseeable evidence of the referee's judgment being infringed upon or the result of the stoppage being untrue, the Virginia State Athletic Board has officially upheld the 39 second first round TKO stoppage, an official loss on the record of Ian Kutalaba. So, I mean, on one hand, this is really just a symbolic thing for show because, like we said, the UFC's already rebooked the match. They're going to run that back and actually fight. So we'll see how that fight genuinely plays out. But the shitty side is that now, like, there's not a whole lot that he can do to try and get this made right. Like, even if he wins the quote unquote, I'm using air quotes for those listening, rematch, he still is 1-1 with this opponent, and he has an official loss on his record. That kind of sucks.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks for him. Everything that happened, I mean, it wasn't his fault.
Right.
Was he play acting too well? Not really. Like all of us that were watching them were like,
yeah, it wasn't that
like he's
convincing.
like is the dude wobbly? What did he get caught with? And then immediately we're like, oh, Anderson Silva.
Yep.
So,
All
right.
The ding.
I have to play the heel here on this.
Oh shit!
Because I get
new kid here.
I don't know who the fuck that guy is, but yeah, I don't know. Looks like something out of a trailer park. Who knows?
What
But anyhow,
happened?
playing the heel here because this definitely needs to be said. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. If you're going to do something like that and act like you're wobbled, don't get hit. Don't let him get close, because he did get touched, not hard, but he did get touched a couple times during that, which, from the referee's vantage point,
right? Yeah, it's understandable from the referee's point of view. The referee's the only one in this situation I feel is blameless in all of this. I completely 100% agree with Kevin McDonald in the situation because we saw there was a camera directly over his shoulder. So of the replays that we can now look at, you can basically see exactly what he saw, and from that point of view, I get it. Kevin McDonald was doing exactly what he was supposed to do. My problem with this is the precedent that it sets.
I'm in that same boat with you. The Athletic Commission sees every fucking angle the rest of us saw.
Yep.
How they didn't overturn this, I don't know. Whoever's on that Athletic Commission all lose their jobs. Go drink fucking potty water and eat moldy toast for breakfast, you cocksuckers.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it probably should have been ruled a no contest.
That's exactly what I'm advocating for. I'm not saying this should be a fucking win by any stretch of the imagination. I just don't like that it's an official loss that can't be overturned now.
No.
He was throwing haymakers.
Yeah.
Like every time dude got close to him, he was throwing haymakers. Like he was.
I mean, they do that. They're gonna have 9-10 fighters of just the last 6 months run into an athletic commission trying to get a fight turn no contest. If they do it this one time for this particular situation, they're gonna have like 10 fighters come cry to the athletic commission.
Their job is to review fights.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but that's literally what they're supposed to be doing. That's what they're there to do.
And I can't even say that you're going to get that many fighters because this is, look, playing the heel.
This was blatant.
He played a stupid game. He won the stupid prize by getting the L. Yep. They didn't overturn it. However, I don't see that if them turning it over would have caused another 10 fucking fights to have this same outcome because this is a different type of thing. We don't see a lot of guys go in there and fake the I'm wobbled shit.
Right.
This is kind of a one, maybe a 2 off situation. Anderson Silva's heyday, prior to the Chris Weidman catching his number.
Right.
But it's still, in all actuality, I don't feel bad for him with the loss. To be quite honest, it sucks because I know that's not the case. But at the same time, you're going to do something stupid. Unfortunately, the ref was not in the greatest position. He could have had a much better position. They're supposed to be on the side, not behind the fight. But, you know, when they're moving, he's trying to get to the side. Shit like that happens.
Right. So and with them big boys like that, you don't want to get caught.
But yeah, I mean, like if you watch the fight, obviously all of us watched the fight, like a second before it stopped, dude threw a haymaker that was spot on.
Yeah.
Like if the ref had been paying attention and not like, if he'd actually been paying attention to what was going on and be like, oh, okay, maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I have no earthly idea why it, like if you watch the fight, it's like why did it get stopped? Why did it get stopped at all? And I get you trying to protect the fighters, but neither of the fighters appeared to be in a situation where it resulted in where someone needed to step in.
Right.
Like if you were watching anything, and I guess I mean I guess we can rule it out to the ref being out of position or something like that.
The ref was clearly out of position, playing the heel here again. A
Yeah.
lot of this does fall on McDonald, and I don't like to blame refs at all. I really don't, because they have the toughest job
They do.
of anybody, not out of the fighters, anybody. The ref has the toughest fucking job, because shit like this pops up, and then their integrity comes into question. I'm not
every
questioning
time.
his integrity. I want to make that very clear. He's a fantastic ref. We've seen him do great jobs before. Unfortunately, being out of position, but the one part where I will play devil's advocate on him, they know to be looking at the fighter's entire body,
Right.
not just the top half that's wobbling. He could have looked down at his legs and saw that his legs were moving just fine, and he wasn't stiff.
Yeah.
The legs are one of the first things to go when you get lit up.
Yep.
Everybody knows that.
Well, and on
They're
that
still bouncing around.
same note, because I said I will stick up for Kevin McDonald based on the decision he made, doesn't mean I'm not going to be critical of it as well. I agree with, based on what he saw, the decision that he made. But 100%, he was absolutely out of position for the fight that he was supposed to be refereeing in the moment. Had he been literally 180 degrees to where he was, he would have had straight down the fucking fight alley direction shot of what actually happened, and we wouldn't have had that stoppage to even talk about right now.
And here's the hard part with positioning. Those fighters were moving pretty fucking quick when that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So he was in position initially. Like if you go back and watch, when Kuntalaba started moving backwards there, that fucking he got behind him because he was trying to switch to the other side, and that's when he looked and thought he saw something that caused it to be over with. It was just it was a bad transition period, for lack of better terms.
Yeah.
Like I said, but he was still out of position, so I kind of chalk it up as his fault. But also, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, you get a permanent L because Athletic Commission is, as RJ said, afraid to set a fucking precedent that might cause other fighters to think that this is acceptable to go and appeal.
Right.
Yeah. So I think we've learned some lessons here. Ref, be in position. You're a professional. Be in position. Fighter, if you want to take a chance like this, you're taking a chance.
Yeah, know your
And
consequences.
it's shown that you can pick up an L from faking the funk. 3, everybody be professionals. Do your fucking jobs.
Right. It really would have saved this entire situation from happening for the most part if everybody would have just literally done their fucking jobs and done what they were supposed to be doing in the moment there. I agree.
What's funny about that comes up a lot, I notice. When we're talking about a lot of these fucked up fight situations, it comes down to somebody not doing their job. Like when we see stoppages that shouldn't have been stoppages, or that are, well, I shouldn't say shouldn't be stoppages, are questionable.
Controversial, yeah.
Controversial, questionable, whatever you want to call them. The people doing their jobs, but at the same time, it's them not doing their jobs.
Right.
Because, part of that is judgment call. Part of that is, what was the fighter doing? Were they doing their job, protecting themselves at all times? It's funny how this keeps coming into play, but in a situation like this, where it's clear as day, I think, truly, to be honest here, the ones to blame the most right now are the fucking Athletic Commission and the fucking fighter. The fighter, look, play stupid games, you win stupid prize. Athletic Commission, look at the fucking footage. Don't have your head up your ass. You look like a bunch of fucking ostriches that are playing fucking head in the sand and don't want to look and fix something when it was clearly something that was an easy fix. You go, okay, no context. Bam, done.
Exactly.
See, I think that's my biggest problem. That's kind of why I wanted to talk about it here. It's not so much the situation, because clearly in the sport of MMA, especially when you're talking about some of the bigger guys like these gentlemen, Strange
Yeah.
shit like this is going to happen. It's unavoidable. You're not going to fucking stop weird instances like this from happening. My big problem with it, for the most part, overall, is exactly what TJ's talking about here. Is it's the fucking athletic commission, because this isn't even the first time this year we have seen an athletic commission just drop the fucking ball in an epic proportion here. And in a year where we're already out so much thanks to the fucking reunion, we can't afford to have what we do have be fucked up because of a lack in professionalism on the commission side. There's always going to be fuckery in the ring. That's why guys fight for a living. But the commission, in my opinion at least, is supposed to be the step above that. It's your job to review things for a reason, because you're supposed to be better than the fuckery. And this being the second big fight commission fuck up, in my opinion, that we've seen so far, gets you a little nervous. Gets you a little, to say the least.
You know,
But
with that commission thing being said, that there's so much with the commissions that we've seen that have gone awry. It's something that, to be honest, I wish there was another overseeing body over the commissions,
agreed.
like a because
Some kind of regulatory body that can regulate the commissions.
well,
There's got to be a
'cause
check and balance.
yeah, a check and balance type system similar to what we have in American politics. There is a check and balance there, albeit sometimes a little flawed. It's still there, but it's
Well-
something that I honestly think they could do, and it would make the sport a lot better for not only the fighters, but also the fucking referees and everyone else who's involved. The other thing that bothers me about it is when they can't tell what a rope-a-dope is, there's a fucking problem.
Right.
Especially because a lot of these guys on the commissions started with where? Boxing. What is boxing famous for? Rope-a-dopes. There are plenty of those. Let the guy punch himself out till he gets tired, then knock his ass out. Same concept.
Yep.
Look, we get it. MMA is more dangerous because there's more weapons available. But still, you have to recognize a rope-a-dope from afar. That's just how it works.
So, like, isn't there a level at the? Isn't there like a, like, should there or should there be like a decision-making body within the UFC, like independent within the UFC, if something like this comes up to turn over, and then it would go up to the athletic commission.
So
Like it seems like that would make more sense.
yes and no.
What?
Basically, the intermediate level there, like you're talking about, would be a contracted arbitrator.
Arbitrator.
That's the word I'm looking for. A contracted arbitrator, generally third party, so that they're impartial. But there isn't any step really between the actual commission themselves and the UFC other than a possible arbitrator. And there's no one to go in that same situation where if you have an issue with the commission to get an arbitrator to go beyond that. Commission is final stamp and seal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
It's
The silver lining,
you're
I
all
would say.
professionals. You're all professionals. You know the fucking risks.
Right.
Do your fucking jobs.
If there could be such a thing in this situation, I would say the silver lining is that in the times that we're dealing with right now, making a decision this bad, this publicly, will undoubtedly impact the decision going forward for the company to come back. Same thing with Texas. Texas has one more potential chance as of the original schedule anyway, before all this fucking craziness came up. Only had one more chance for the year for the Texas Athletic Commission to fuck up again. And even then, Dana White had mentioned that if we see another situation, I think it was going to be in Houston or in San Antonio next time because it was Houston this time. He said that if we see another situation like we did over in Houston, then it'll be the last time you see the UFC in Texas. So we're getting to a point like you can't be fucking around anymore. So I would say if any good thing does come out of this, it would be that now that you guys have made your fuck up this public and stood behind it, like that lets us know exactly where you stand and where we should not go if we get an option in the future.
It seems like we're really weeding out what places we should and shouldn't be. I mean,
Yeah.
look, New York, obviously, Texas is coming. There's some bad questions, and now this one here. What? That's three down. You lose. They're losing a fuck ton of revenue because of this. If the UFC decides to stop coming there, how many people are gonna come to fucking San Antonio for an event like this when it's Cage Warriors Underground? Not gonna be anywhere near as much as what the UFC is gonna be. I'm just saying, they got to pull their shit together,
Yep.
all of them.
Yep. Because yeah, you're on the fucking clock now. Like if you make a fuck up, it lives forever and everyone gets to see it. So you're just standing yourself out against the crowd as the one who's willing to make stupid public statements.
Especially at a time like we have currently. That's you have to make a damn good impression for somebody to want to come back because with the way things are currently,
Yeah, it's gonna go
this
crazy.
may be a you burn your bridge and it's fucking over. There's no rebuilding it.
Yeah, it's gonna go crazy when the fucking the bars are finally lifted and everybody's free to fucking move about the cabin. It's gonna be insane, and somebody's gonna get a lot of money because there's gonna be a lot of big events going on. Maybe not in Texas, maybe not in New York, probably not in Virginia now. We'll see. But that will bring us once again, nicely, enjoyingly, back to what we haven't had in a little while, which is a meat and potatoes segment of this meat and potatoes portion of the show. This particular tasty dish is a fine example of American independence. Not giving a fuck when you're told you can't do something, as long as you can still safely do it to show that person, oh yeah. This particular time, in this particular moment, we are talking about a world that has been pensively held back, restrained against its will, for its own good, but restrained nonetheless, for weeks and weeks and weeks on end, and one man says no more. And that man is Mr. Chael Sonnen. And Submission Underground 13 is here to give us hope that even when the Backstreet Boys are staring you down, saying bye, 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 somebody can fix that situation for you. Whether it's in a grain silo with just enough people to make it happen, or it's in a Hollywood sound studio, words come out. It doesn't matter, because Uncle Chael is going to do it as long as it can be done. And thank goodness it's getting done this weekend. Submission Underground 13. EBI rule set. Submission only grappling in an octagon for posterity. This being, of course, 13, not like the other numbered things that we're talking about because it was discovered in a certain year, but this being a 13 because it is actually the 13th of its kind. Submission Underground 13 being headlined by 3 particular matches that we are going to break down. Now, granted, this entire event is going to be absolutely filled with badasses in the grappling and jiu-jitsu world and is absolutely worth watching, aside from the fact that it is the only combat sports event we have going on right now. It is absolutely going to be spectacularly filled with some badasses from the combat sports world. But the 3 that we are going to talk about here for you fine folks before we get out of here this evening are the main event, the co-main event, and as it were, the, air quotes, people's main event, the prior to co-main event matchup here. So we will start with that people's main event, or people's co-main event matchup, the third slot from the top, the quote-unquote main card as they used in the Submission Underground world. Everything other than these main fights is the prelim card. Still valid, but it is what it is. So what we are talking about here is Gabriel Checo, one of the most dangerous, middle-sized, I would say, physically statured, not any other way, calm down, black belts in the USA versus a man who's really starting to get the itch for Submission Underground, this being his 4th appearance now, Jake Ellenberger, who in his own right is very much a wrestling and grappling known gentleman. This particular situation, though, we have got a wrestler in Ellenberger versus a black belt jiu-jitsu monster in Gabriel Checo. We have seen Gabriel Checo out wrestle wrestlers. We have seen him out jiu-jitsu world-class jiu-jitsu players. So coming in here against Jake Ellenberger, who we have already seen is good at wrestling, but against some of these higher level jiu-jitsu guys, it's a different kind of grappling. I can't help but think that we are going to see Ellenberger lose, but not necessarily go to overtime. I think he's going to definitely put up a struggle in his own right, but I don't think Checo is going to let him go to overtime and do the EBI reversal start-offs.
Yeah, Ellenberger may have bitten off more than he can chew on this one. Like, he's a crafty old bastard at this point. Like, he's going to sneak a brick in the ring somehow. But yeah, he's up against a monster. Padme's running around in here. Yeah, he's up against a straight up monster. And Zangief, they call him Zangief.
He bears the part too. Like he owns it.
Yeah, like I think Jake will hold out fairly well. Like he might stick it out longer than we think, but I don't see too many ways that he could win this one.
I agree. I don't even if it does make it to overtime, I don't see this being a situation where they use the EBI 3 sets in the back and it comes down to escape versus defense time. I don't think Ellenberger's got what it takes to go full regulation and then overtime against a guy like Checo here.
Yeah, Checo's
he's a monster.
He
really is.
I'll make this nice and easy. The only way Ellenberger has a chance is if it was an MMA rule set. This is not an MMA rule set, so he has no chance. And the only reason I would say he would have a chance then is because we knew what he could do when he was in the UFC.
Right, yeah, when he had MMA as a full skill set weapons.
Being as he doesn't have access to all of the other weapons he used to have, it's kind of a moot point where, as much as I hate to say it, he doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell.
Yeah, man. Do you have, like, Jake, when he was in the UFC, I liked him a little bit. He had potential of becoming something that was good in the UFC.
Yeah, he wasn't a soup can by any stretch.
Oh, yeah. But then he just did a little tumble and just couldn't recover from it. But it doesn't matter who it is. A good Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner versus a wrestler, 9 times out of 10, BJJ wins.
Right, he should.
9 times out of 10.
Should.
9 times out of 10.
It's not like I almost feel like we're overlooking Ellenberger's BJJ because it's not like he's bad.
Right? Yeah. No. Not to say he's bad at all. Yeah.
A fucking monster.
Yeah. Ellenberger has always focused more on the wrestling side of it and included the grappling because it's part of wrestling, and then done a little bit of BJJ because he was an MMA fighter and he tried to be fairly well rounded. That being said, Checo has never had to worry about MMA, so he's never had to stop doing his jiu-jitsu conditioning or his wrestling for striking work or for pad work in, something that wasn't going to relate directly to a gi transition or a no gi transition for him. So I think it mainly is the experience in this situation. We're taking a pair of grapplers. One of them has grappling in jiu-jitsu experience. One of them has grappling in the wrestling experience. And we're putting them kind of somewhere in the middle, but it still heavily favors the BJJ guys.
Yeah. Like Ellenberger could take him down, and next thing you know, he's tapping out, and he doesn't even know what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's how good Checo is. Like ow, something hurts really bad. And then he got me in some sort of crazy BJJ toe lock. Like I don't know how it happened, but
I think you're right. We're definitely underplaying his BJJ, but at the same time, it's hard to go from that pro MMA transition to a straight grappling jiu-jitsu
Right.
submission game, because you're taking away a large portion of what you knew as a toolbox
Yeah.
to
What you
go in
conditioned
and just
yourself to
go.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like throwing him into a world IBJFF fucking BJJ fucking
Right.
world. He's gonna get dominated
Yeah.
because it's not his forte. However, the
He's always willing to
caveat
step
to
up though.
that is that because we've seen him his fourth time now, he may be going to that space where he goes, you know what, this is going to be my full-time thing. So he may only be training this now, which that could help him, but it's not going to help him win this
Right.
weekend.
Yeah, it's not going to save him, but it will definitely help him. And I would absolutely be very happy, just as a general fan, to hear him taking it that seriously, considering he's not going back to the UFC anytime soon. And this realistically could be a decent future for him every couple months. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll
I
definitely
mean,
have to
he's
keep an
made
eye
his
on it.
money in the UFC as
Yeah.
long as he's been smart about stuff. Like
Right.
like Ellenberger's headline cards. He's been
Yeah.
mid card. He's made some decent money in
He's,
MMA.
yeah, he spent his time
As long as he
in there.
minded, yeah, as long as he minded his P's and Q's. Why wouldn't you go to Submission Underground? Like, there's no, you're not getting your head caved in every couple months.
Right.
You wrestle around, and someone will catch you with something.
Right. Or not.
Yeah, or not. Maybe you're the one catching somebody with something.
Right.
So,
And
you know,
is it as if
Jake Ellenberger's always been a dude who'll step up to anybody. So
Oh yeah,
I mean,
absolutely, absolutely, and I think that's part of what makes it so exciting to see him making this transition into the submission underground world is that there's no shortage of big name dudes, both from the former MMA world and just submission underground style BJJ and grappling kind of dudes with big enough names. There's realistic super fights like this that can happen every couple months, man. It can be a safer end of career phase for some of these guys.
yeah. And Jake's a perfect dude to act, as a little bit of a gatekeeper.
Yeah,
Although,
absolutely.
I think Checo needs a gatekeeper, but
I mean, if nothing else, it'd be a good springboard for Checo, I think, to put his name into the spotlight a little more.
Yeah, did you guys see me tap out Ellenberg in about 12 seconds?
Right. Well, I mean, to be fair, that's how I learned about Danielle Kelly when Cynthia Calvillo went talking all of her shit and then signed up last minute for a fucking Submission Underground match thinking that she's going to be Little Miss Badass, specifically saying she's going here to get the finish that she couldn't get in the octagon. And then Danielle Kelly's 105-pound ass took her to the ground and tapped her out in 17 fucking seconds. So Danielle Kelly is a fucking world-class badass who was introduced to the world thanks to giving Cynthia Calvillo a little plateful of shut your fucking mouth, bitch. You never know. You never know.
Yeah,
But
that's one thing I'm a little upset about this card. There's none of the lady grapplers are on this card.
no, there's
That's all right.
not.
We'll take
But-
anything.
but-
We'll take anything.
The
Don't
interesting
take it
thing
away
here,
from us, jail.
the interesting thing we've got to go for is here, though, is that our next match that we're going to talk about is kind of the evolution of exactly what we just mentioned here. We've got an MMA guy who does have a little bit of a wrestling prowess to him versus a world-class, off with his head level, fucking insane black belt BJJ practitioner here. This one, kind of the newer breed, I guess would be the appropriate phrase, compared to Checo, who is not by any stretch of the imagination an old dog in the BJJ world, but no spring chicken just the same. Then we've got the next matchup here, our co-main event for Sunday evening's Submission Underground match. The potatoes au pois, nicely stacked with a fresh aromatic steam coming off that just makes you salivate here. Richie the Boogeyman Martinez versus Austin Mr. Van Zant Vanderford. We have got an 8-0 current prospect MMA fighter versus a 10th planet Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt of epic proportions and 10th planet instructor now that travels and does coaching not only the 10th planet system, but also corners and coaches several MMA fighters as well. The Boogeyman is a just absolute problem for just about anyone. He was one of the founders with Eddie Bravo of Combat Jiu-Jitsu, where you've got this jiu-jitsu game that we play in Submission Underground with open hand palm strikes. No fists, no punches, no kicks, but open hand palm strikes that made things very Pride-esque in the aspect that we had. And aside from being one of the founders of Combat Jiu-Jitsu, Boogeyman is a fucking freak of freaks. Aside from being literally a 10th planet freak, a subset of just hardcore BJJ fanatics from the 10th planet system, he and his brother are actually known as the Freak Brothers because they came from the world of b-boy dancing and hip-hop break dancing into the world of jiu-jitsu. So these guys are not just black belts, not just dangerous black belts, but limber and creative and unorthodox black belts of just realistic world-breaking proportions. And then you've got Mr. Van Zant, for his credit, is 8-0 in MMO in the Bellator roster on his way to trying to make himself into something, even though he really is more known right now for being married to Paige Van Zant more than his MMA or his grappling prowess. But this is also his third time in Submission Underground. He is said himself he's starting to get the itch for this because he likes the way that it plays out and understands that this will help his overall game going into MMA as well. That's a very intelligent thing to be said from such an idiot like this, because he's fucking stupid. So, now we have to watch, will this dumb neck tat rockin' grappler be able to hold his own against one of the most flexible, dangerous BJJ practitioners the 10th planet system has ever unleashed on the world? To give credit,
Was that a question?
well, to give
Can I
credit,
answer that for you?
to give credit where credit is due, I will say this: Austin is strong as fuck. He will not be manhandled. That being said, he's also very muscle bound. And if you've seen some of these grappling matches go through, muscles will only get you so far. Raw strength will only carry you so far. You have to have the finesse to make a stop if you want to win. And Richie is quite literally known for grabbing his leg and throwing it around himself or pulling it from underneath an opponent to create an unorthodox rubber guard that no one has even seen before. And then you've got his opponent, who is a no-neck having thick boy. So, I mean, there's always the 1 in a million chance, but I think that's quite literally all Mr. Van Zant has in the situation is a 1 in a million chance.
Yeah. I mean, you can go to the does size matter thing, and you go back and watch anybody who fought Hoist Gracie back in the day.
No shit.
Hoist Gracie was literally littler than almost anybody, and they would sit there and try and punch him out. They would sit there and try and power him down, and every single one of them for years tapped. Every single one of them. Didn't matter what their game plan was. With a BJJ guy that knows that much about BJJ, it's just you're in a losing fight from the start. Like if you could catch him and knock him out, that's one thing. You have no option on this one. I hope that he's taking his lessons down. He's writing. He's making notes because he's gonna get a fucking notebook full.
Right.
From Richie Martinez, like this, yeah, he's gonna be having nightmares about Boogeyman for fucking years.
Yeah, absolutely.
About what might happen to him. Like, and I like, has Mr. Van Zant talked any trash? I don't think he has. I think he knows better.
Not really. Basically, all that he said about this match is that he's excited to compete with someone so prestigious. Like, he understands how fucking infamous, I guess, really, Boogie is in this world, and that it's that level for a reason. Yeah. But on the same page, he's also, but double entendre, pun intended, wink, wink. Yeah. he has actually been spending more time making TikTok videos with his wife than he has been training for this very serious match that he has coming up in a couple days. So that whole right foot slide step thing that he's doing with his old lady, like, I get it, but maybe save that for next week.
Yeah.
Well, this is the way I look at this. I'm surprised anybody knows Boogeyman's actual name, that it is Richie Martinez.
Yeah.
Because throughout the BJJ world, you only know
Boogie.
him as Boogeyman.
Yeah.
That's the
Or
Boogeyman.
Boogie.
Yeah.
Or Boogie,
That's
yeah.
it. It doesn't matter. The other side of this coin, you have well, what I would have to say is trophy husband, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair statement. That's a very fair statement.
There's a reason why it's not Paige Vanderford. Why everybody refers to him as Mr. Van Zandt.
Absolutely.
Look, he is trying to pave his own way. Hats off. Credit where credit's due. He works. He's obviously working hard for the MMA thing. He understands that this could help him. Good. All I can say is this for Austin is at this point, he's just being a company man for Uncle Chael. Yeah, sure, I'll take one for the team because it's going to help me learn. You learn by losing. He's not going to get a fucking concussion or anything like that. Once he taps, Boogie's going to let him go because Boogie's not going to try to fucking break him.
Yeah. And it's not like this counts as a loss on his overall.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt his MMA record.
Yeah, because this is something completely different. So I mean, this is the type of thing a young fighter should do.
For this, the only person who has anything to lose in this fight is Boogie.
Yeah, and he's not worried about
it. Boogie's not worried, and he shouldn't be. Nothing against Austin. He's still learning. He's young into his career. He's a prospect for a reason. But at the end of the day, he's getting a trophy either way. Whether he wins or he goes home. He goes home, there's a trophy waiting at home for him. Period. I'm just saying.
Well, I think he is the trophy.
Okay. Well, or either way, there's a trophy in it for him one way or another.
Yeah, she just picked the prettiest dude, the prettiest, dumbest dude she could manipulate around, and there you go. Yeah, I mean, it's like if you're looking to go up and learn something, like this is exactly the type of fight you should be taking. Like you better because you're gonna have to bury your head in the fucking books to take on Boogie. Like you.
In the long run, he's gonna get to go back and watch this film over and over again after he's.
Yeah, this is good. This is great for him.
And this is going to be a great learning experience, and not to mention how well it's going to help translate into his MMA game, because he's going to learn, hey, I saw this, I fucked this up, but this is where might work if there was punches involved.
Yeah.
So it'll be a good learning experience, but end of the day, he goes home with the L, but still ends up as a trophy.
Yeah, and I think it's RJ. What do you think, man? Being a trophy husband yourself.
Thank you. Really feel good. Okay, so let's take the 10th planet thing out of the situation, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where, what team, what camp Boogie is fighting from. That does not matter, because you have the end all be all, like, most wanted matchup ever. Gracie Vera, which is one of the best. Oh God, no! Don't do it, computer. Don't do it.
You're all right now.
Better. Fuck yeah,
you're good now.
Okay, so at one end you have Gracie Bear, which is considered one of the end-all be-all best BJJ school ever, versus 10th Planet, which is turned into one of the best to compete with Gracie Barra. And This is one of the most, like, sought after things ever. So if you take both of those away from the equation, the skill, flexibility, and just holy what the fuck of Boogie versus from Austin. Like nothing against Austin, he does good in Bellator, but this is a whole nother breed where this is Boogie's life. You're you're just hanging out. You're just
Yeah.
off in the corner just watching in the club while you're watching Boogie fucking go in on the dance floor. It you you have not and away from it. Point blank period. Fuck you, internet. Why?
RJ Prime, roll out. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
It happens sometimes. It happens
This
sometimes.
is RJ. Bring me Energon.
Right?
Anyway,
Oh, kids these days.
I must find the life.
Right?
he's got too much. He's got too many TikToks running in the
Yeah,
background.
too much going on at Chatterbeat feed. I told him was going to be a death of him. But
What happens when you want to follow Mr. Van Zandt?
right. But
I mean, he's making a really good point. That,
yeah, no, he absolutely is. It absolutely very much is a good representation, I feel, of the 10th planet breaking in and trying to establish himself.
I'm trying to keep up with the 19th thing that yeah.
So, sure.
You might want to restart your router.
There he is.
Yeah, my computer hates me.
Yeah.
It did this
Seems that way.
yesterday. It did this yesterday too.
But, yeah, I mean, you made very good point. Very good point. That he's walking into something. And he knows that he's in over his head with this guy. Like there's no question. He knows that he's in over his head with this guy. But I mean, it's a learning experience, and I mean, why wouldn't you take it? You got a chance to roll with a master.
Right. Yeah.
Why wouldn't
That's
you
for
take
damn
it?
sure.
Like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna get twisted up and it's gonna hurt for a minute, but
It'd be a cool story later.
I get to see up close what this dude does.
Right. Yeah. That's what I said. It's gonna be a great story later on, regardless.
Yeah.
Can we
Like
make
TJ's got a similar story where he rolled with one of the Gracies and dude tapped him out like 10 times. But doesn't fucking matter. You can roll with the Gracie.
Right.
Yeah.
You learn from it.
Absolutely.
I want to know, can we make a prop bet here? I have a feeling that there's a possibility that we could see a twister out of Boogeyman.
That actually
Do
is.
Twitter, I'll PayPal you $10.
That actually is a pretty good chance because he really, really loves those weird fucking twists like that, and the twister is definitely an off-brand, if for lack of a better term,
And
hard twist.
I'm just saying, between him and Eddie Bravo, that's a hot fucking topic, especially after Thug Nasty shot him out after his last tap-out victory.
Very true. Very true.
I'm just saying, it'd be a good way for Austin to learn it. He wouldn't have to watch YouTube videos then.
Yeah.
This is true. This is very true.
Like, wait, what's going on?
How come I'm looking at you?
Right. But that being said, that will bring us into the 38-ounce tomahawk, beautifully reverse seared, medium rare hunk of deliciousness that is our main event of the evening. The crown jewel of Submission Underground 13, possibly, no stretch of the imagination, the most single anticipated grappling match of our lifetime, realistically. For those of you who don't know, there are 3 men currently vying for the top of the grappling world as far as competition goes internationally. That is Gordy the King Ryan, that is Craig Jones, and that is Vinny Magalhaes. Now, there's a three-peat going on here that I'm going to use Uncle Chael's own phrasing to describe. So there's three men vying for the top. There's Gordon Ryan, there's Vinny Magalhaes, and there is Craig Jones. Now, Craig Jones has already beaten Gordy Ryan. But Vinny also, Gordy beat Craig. I apologize, I fucked that all up. It was going to be cool. I'm going to go fucking throw it out the window because I can't do it like he did. Watch Uncle Chael's clip about this. There's three men vying for the top. Gordy Ryan beat Craig Jones. But Vinny Magalhaes beat Gordy Ryan. So the only hope that Craig Jones has to stay in that argument for the best of the best right now is to beat Vinny, because then it keeps the cycle rotating. Craig Jones is a cheetah print wearing Danaher Death Squad monster, world renowned leg locker. The problem is that Vinny Magalhaes is also a world caliber leg locker who has, as if from a movie, created supervillain style, turned away from the leg lock system to the extent now that his favorite catchphrase to rile guys like Craig Jones up is that leg locks don't work. This coming from a world-class black belt who specialized previously in leg locks, saying this to a current world-class black belt who does specialize in leg locks currently. These two gentlemen are at the top of the stack and have never so much as shaken hands somehow. They were competition to Submission Undergrounds ago in one of the tag team jiu-jitsu competitions that we were all very excited to see until we actually got to see it. And Craig Jones, like a weird Hollywood movie, just stuck his hand out and never left the fence, never tagged in through 3 rounds of tag team jiu-jitsu. So we didn't get to see what Craig was capable of. We've seen Vinny plenty of times now. Submission Underground, he got in there. He tagged in. He wrestled Nicky Rod. It was fucking great. It was a hell of a setup. And then Submission Underground 12, Craig Jones came back and went in against Kevin Casey and showed that he can hang with a fucking strong dude, and still ended up catching Kevin Casey because his jiu-jitsu skills were too fucking good. But that was against another wrestler. That wasn't against another leg lock guy, another world-class BJJ black belt guy. So they said, you know what? Enough's enough. This one's for the fans. This one's for the people. This is to see who's the best around. Nothing's going to bring him down. See? That's what we get here. We get the best of the best in the grappling world. Two guys who understand each other's styles intimately without ever having come in contact with each other somehow until this point. In multiple dozens, literal dozens, plural, tournaments, these two have never so much as fucking been face off against each other and made it to the top of the stack. And we get to see the determining match between the two of them thanks to Uncle Chael. And this one, for all the praises, and believe me, I could fucking, no bullshit, go on for half an hour just on the praises of these two gentlemen. I cannot tell you which one of them is the better one. This is not a situation where I'm telling you who I think is going to win. I just want to tell you people about this fucking match. It's that big. I don't know who the fuck is going to win. I really don't. I'm just excited that it's happening.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when you got two people that are fairly even, I have to go with Cheetah Print. Like that's my casual assessment. Besides the fact that
I can understand that.
He's pretty awesome. But I mean, this one is, it's right down the middle. Like it could go either way, and Craig Jones is going for. He's going for leg locks.
He wants Vinny's ankle to take home as a fucking trophy so bad, so bad.
He does, but I mean, these are quite literally two of the best. Like
Yeah.
one of them is holding like a universal title, and the other one's holding the world championship. Like,
Basically, yeah, that's
like
exactly
who's
what
gonna
this is.
who you gonna like who's taking home both the belts? Well, neither of them the belts aren't on the line, but it's still gonna be fun to watch.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
The
this is
stature of title.
yeah, just this is bragging rights, and these two are gonna go all out, and
Yeah.
they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it in a grain silo somewhere in Portland, undisclosed location in Portland.
In a
And we're all
fucking
going to benefit
octagon.
from seeing
Yeah.
it. It's going to
In
be
an
awesome.
octagon in a grain silo somewhere, and it's gonna be literally for the fans, and that's all you can really hope for as a fan. This isn't getting put on for money. This isn't getting put on for publicity. This is
Yeah.
quite literally two dudes, a referee, and fucking Uncle Chayla in a grain silo somewhere for the fans.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
I
It's gonna be.
agree.
This is good. Like if you follow this, if you follow the BJJ side of MMA, like this is gonna be as good as it gets. Like you're
Yeah.
gonna see chess.
Yeah, this
You're
is
gonna see two-
absolutely physical chess with dire consequences.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm this is the one that I mean. Thank you to both of these guys for actually
Right.
being willing to do this fight in a grain silo in fucking Portland. So.
Yeah, no shit. No shit.
Right?
This is beyond
Like, do we-
unorthodox.
two of the biggest names in Brazilian jiu-jitsu in the world are going to go into a grain silo in Portland and grapple with each other for our entertainment. And like not much money on the line. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of money. There's not a lot of money. There's not a lot of money for this payout. It's just two dudes.
Yeah.
Two dudes who want to see who's better.
For the prestige.
Thank
of it.
you. Yeah. And for us.
Yeah.
For us, because
And for
they
the
know we've
folks.
got nothing.
Yeah,
The
no
draft's
shit.
over now. The draft's over now.
It's all said and done. Allegedly, it will be Saturday.
Allegedly.
Anyway.
Yeah.
It will be Saturday anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to see this.
You know, I'm
I'm going cheetah print though.
Okay.
I'd say for me, this is definitely a toss up. However, I do have a hard time picking against Craig Jones after the way he handled himself in Submission Underground 12 that we
Kevin.
just watched here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
With the amount of power that he was dealing with and how many times he was denied
Yeah.
before he finally persevered. Like
Yeah,
it
Kevin
honestly
Casey
looked
didn't
at-
make it easy. That's for damn sure. Kevin Casey
No.
gave him every fucking bit that he could handle.
And-
It was legit.
Yeah.
It was very impressive.
That's why I have a hard time picking against him. However, looking at Vinny though, Vinny's otherworldly compared to Kevin Casey, in my own opinion.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
And when you're going with a guy who is formerly known for the same thing that Craig Jones is known for lately,
Yeah.
Vinny knows everything on how to stop every one of those,
Mhm.
as does Craig Jones. Because when you specialize in something, you know what the counters to it are. This is going to be an excellent chess match when it comes to this, because if it's your bread and butter, you know what the counters they're going to throw, and you know how to flow that into something else. But at the same time, they both know the same things.
Yep.
So
How are you going to set up the setups?
The irony in this for me is I don't think we're going to see a leg lock out of either one of them.
I'm inclined to
If
agree.
the opportunity presents itself, he's going for it.
Don't get me wrong. If
Consequences be damned.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't think that we see a finish by leg lock by either.
Oh,
one.
I
Right.
don't
Yeah,
know if this can be
I'm
finished
pretty
by leg
sure
lock
there's
either.
going to be an attempt at some point. I agree with you. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to
There-
reach for a leg.
But no chance in hell that they finish with a leg lock, in my own opinion. I think this goes a completely different route. Which route? I have no earthly fucking idea because of the way these two guys are. But I'm saying it's going to be interesting. But I'm having a hard time picking it to Jones just purely on what we've seen out of him recently. But then again, we didn't get a watch of Vinny the other week, so we don't know where he's at currently. He could be 10 steps ahead at this point, and fucking chess match has just started and it's already over and we don't know it.
Right.
I mean, but I'm going to call it a coin flip. But I still think this is going to be one of the greatest grappling matches you will ever see. I mean, you're not going to see the flashy boogie stuff out of this one,
Yeah, not from these two.
but it's going to be very intricate. And if you're new to grappling, this is one to watch because you're going to see some things
This will
that
be a tutorial.
it's going to be it's for lack of better terms, it's going to be a learning experience to you. So if you haven't watched grappling before or BJJ or anything of this nature, please tune in. If not for the whole card, for this one alone.
Yeah, look it up on YouTube later.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Uncle Chael's nice enough to put videos up.
Yeah,
on
I was
YouTube.
gonna say it'll be out there afterwards if you can't catch it in the moment. Absolutely.
Oh, and the other reason to tune in, you get to listen to Uncle Chael for probably an hour and a half, 2 hours while they go through all this, and that's good enough reason
That's
is.
gold. Yeah, that's gold unto itself.
Is my internet okay?
For the moment.
For the time being.
So far, so good. Make it
Awesome.
Go for it,
So-
man. Talk quick.
So as TJ said, they know each other's styles through and through. Being somebody that goes for leg locks versus somebody that knows everything about the setup and the counter for leg locks, you know fucking everything. So I think there's going to be a fuckload of attempts, but they're just going to get shut down left and right. At the end of the day, what it's going to come into is the setups. I'm going to set this up and go to this and go to this, and the fucking mentality stepping into it. Whoever has the best fucking mentality, whoever feels the best is fucking there that day, 100%. And whoever can set the best setups after something takes it. Point blank period. I've done very little grappling, and I'm okay grappling. I'm not fucking great by any stretch of the imagination, but that's what's going to come down to at the end of this.
I agree. I think, and I agree with you as well, TJ, in that it's hard to pick against Craig Jones, and I have to bring it back to this. Were we seeing him come in this weekend against anyone but Vinny? I would 100% be inclined to agree. Vinny, for my money, is the kryptonite to the top of the BJJ world because he knows all the ins and outs and has sort of learned everything and then forged his own way, very Eddie Bravo-esque, for lack of a better comparison. He knows the leg lock world. He knows what Craig wants to do, and he's going a different direction with it despite that. So I think were it anybody else, I would have Craig Jones down 100%. At this point, I'm hesitant to make a pick, but in making one, I will say I think Vinny's going to be his kryptonite here. I think Vinny knows enough to not only make this interesting, but to make him pay for what he's going to try and do in being the leg lock guy that he is. But the great thing about this is that there's no telling. The only way to know how this is going to shake out is to tune in Sunday to Submission Underground 13 and watch for your goddamn selves. Or just wait till like Monday when Uncle Chael puts it all back up on YouTube for you. But either way, it's going to be live Sunday night and it's going to be a good time. So if you get the chance, I strongly encourage every one of you to catch it. It's going to be a good time. But that's what we've got for this particular episode here. So before we get out of here, I want to run around real quick and thank these fine folks who have come with me to do some shit talking, to have a little shenaniganery, to give you folks a little something to tune into this weekend here. So if at this point the internet's going to be kind enough to us to find out, how would folks get a little more RJ Prime in their life if they need it after this?
Gas against man, okay? Fucking cunt. You can always find me on Instagram at RJ__vapes. And there's 2 underscores because somebody already had RJ Vapes and RJ_vapes. So that's an answer to fresh for the last time I was here. and RJMA official. You can catch me over there. I'm still trying to get time to edit some videos together so I can post a string of videos. Catch me over there, talk some shit, and thank you for having me, Meter, and everybody
Absolutely.
else.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here, brother. So, with that being said, at this point, if somebody wants to try and, I don't know, say allegedly get some inside information about where in the PNW would be the best place to look for a corn silo that might house an underground grappling match, how would they be able to get in touch with you for a clue or two, Fresh03?
They can find me at youtube.com/fresh03. Like there's a lot of grain silos. Like, there's a lot of grain silos down in that area. Like it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to figure out where Uncle Trail's hiding, folks. Um, yeah, I think I gotta figure that he's just got his own ranch. That Uncle Trail's just got his own ranch out there, and he's got an octagon hidden in one of his grain silos. He's probably got hundreds on the property.
Right.
This is how my imagination pictures it. Just hundreds of grain silos on this property, and there's one, and you have to find that 220. You have to find that 220 power cable run into it.
Right.
Like that's how you figure out where Uncle Chael's hiding everybody. So, uh, join me Sunday afternoon in the greater Portland area, which is a large area. We'll be rolling through trying to find out where Uncle Chael's corn silo is. But if we can't find it, we can always just find it on the UFC Fight Pass. Or, like I said, Uncle Chael is always nice enough to upload these fights after they happen. So he's a great American. He's a great American.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for your time, sir. Much appreciated. And as if they hadn't by now, if this point in the game somebody just cannot live without some cheese curds and combat sport conversation, how are they going to be able to get in touch with you, Mr. Golf Tee?
Wednesday nights, right here on the YouTubes, 9:30 Central Time. That's 10:30 out east and 7:30 for you bastards on the West Coast. Everywhere else in the world, figure it out. I'm only giving U.S. times because I don't know the rest of the fucking time. Yeah, and of course here every Thursday night, and whenever else we get a chance to talk shit, you can also find me on the Instagrams because I'm glad to do that as well. God knows we can talk more kicky punchy things with the current state of the union. I'll gladly talk kicky punchy things, and if you feel like you want to kicky punchy with me, let me know. Let's meet up somewhere. Let's do it because man, I'm fucking bored right now.
I'm a couple hours away from you. Let's do this.
Kiki Punchy in the park.
Right? We're almost there. We're
RJ,
almost
you don't
at that
want
point.
none of this. You don't want none of this.
I want all of that.
RJ's just about to find out why you don't fight a dude who's seasoned.
I want that beard in my face.
You just better eat your fucking Wheaties, son.
Oh, I eat nothing but Wheaties.
Kids these days, I tell you. But that being said, we're going to wrap this up. So before we get out of here, if we give you something to giggle about, give us a thumbs up. If we entertained you for a little piece of the time that you've been locked down thanks to the Backstreet Boys, maybe subscribe. We try and do this every Thursday. But if we brought some enlightening thought into your life, if we gave you things that you didn't know about that you can appreciate, share an episode of this. We're trying to grow the damn thing. But on the opposite side of that, if we're just a couple of dipshits sitting in front of cameras talking but not knowing what the fuck we're actually saying, give us a thumbs down. We earned it and we won't dispute it. That being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. So if this hasn't been enough for you, I'm No Joe on all social media platforms pretty much. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Mixer for the video game side of it, all at /I'm No Joe. And if you want to support the channel, patreon.com/I'm No Joe. But if these Instagram influencer level faces have just been too much for you to focus, head on over to anchor.fm/I'm No Joe for the all audio version of the show, distraction free. But that being said, we're going to get the hell on out of here, folks. Thank you very much for tuning in, and keep your eyes peeled because we got more in the works for you. We ain't going nowhere just yet. So we'll leave you with this thought. Don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything unless you think drinking bleach is going to help stop the Backstreet Boys, in which case...
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening.
How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times.